I've been watching Shark Tank US for a very long time. And when Shark Tank India was launched a few years ago, I was very intrigued to see the type of products that would be showcased from various parts of India. It was extremely exciting when the first season came out. I was introduced to so many new products, so many new brands, which I have now faithfully purchased over the years. Even though Shark Tank has gone behind the paywall, I am still subscribing to it. And I continue to actually gift subscriptions to my family because I really want to patronize the products from India. Living abroad, one does not know the extent of product offerings that India has. Some of the interesting example that I could give is it was my brother's 50th birthday, and I wanted to get him a gift. And I was looking for something interesting, and then suddenly it occurred to me when I was in Jaipur, the Jaipur Watch Company was showcased on Shark Tank India. Not a product I would have come across otherwise, but I bought him a watch, which I will be gifting to him sometime in the future. And when he actually receives it, it would be a living example of a product that got to a person without us knowing of the brand.
That was Mala Javeri, a Bahraini resident of Indian descent who credits Shark Tank India for helping her discover many Indian startup brands. Now, as Shark Tank India returns to TV in its fifth season, this shift is less about nostalgia and more about recalibration.
Season 4 of Shark Tank India went behind the paywall. And now it's returning back to the TV platforms. What drove this shift?
So our first 3 seasons were on TV, were on Sony Live, our OTT, and has done so exponentially well that it's become a part of the pop culture. It's very important to experiment a little bit because until you experiment, you would really never know what the real potential of the show is. What's very exciting for us is to see that how much of popularity the show has gained. So it's but natural that we should put it back on television in the fifth year.
For advertisers, this shift back to TV signals something deeper than distribution. In an era where OTT and TV are often pitched as rivals, Shark Tank India is becoming a case study in convergence, where the audience moves first and the media strategy follows.
So, if I were to also ask you about some of the data metrics that you have been tracking, when I say you, that is Sony Live has been tracking, that says a lot about the advertiser ROI. Because initially you started with approximately 30 odd episodes, and I believe in the new edition it's going to be 50 odd episodes. So, what are some of the tracking metrics that you have, and what does it say, especially when it comes to CPM efficiency, time spent, category wise conversion? Because OTT and TV, they are completely two different beasts.
I actually don't look at it that way. OTT and TV are not really very different. I think advertisers will go wherever the viewers are, right? What is a big differentiator in case of Shark Tank India is the fact that it gives you a massively unique environment to place your brand, at the peak of pop culture. Can that just be evaluated in CPMs? Not really. So I think we have taken a lot of effort to educate the advertising community on what a show of this nature, of course it didn't exist in digital earlier. In OTT, in some form, there's a bit of a learning that's really coming in from traditional digital organizations. But I think as OTT is growing, there is also a big sense of awareness of what kind of environment does OTT provide for good storytelling for brands. I think another very interesting thing is that when we write in OTT, we write keeping the ad break in mind. And I think that's again a very important metric. Advertising in case of OTT platforms is not necessarily a disruption. It is an aided awareness program that really works over there. So I think that really works for the brands.
For media planners, Shark Tank India poses a question. Can cultural relevance be priced purely in CPMs? Sony Live's argument is that it can't, and Paras shouldn't be. The show offers brands a placement at the peak of pop culture where advertising is designed into a narrative rather than bolted on as interruption.
So, you mentioned about culture and especially pop culture. Now, it's also pretty well known that startup ecosystem is known for another culture, which is the hustle culture. So, how do you ensure that the pop culture narrative marries itself to the hustle culture that most of the brands would like to disassociate themselves with. How do you communicate that or bridge that particular messaging gap with your potential advertisers?
I think it's in the form of storytelling, the way we do the narrative building of the show. If you look at Shark Tank India, right from the choice of our sharks to the choice of pictures to the form of storytelling that we have chosen on the show, we've really celebrated building. Hustle is not always a bad word. Hustle is a good word if it's done in the nice, positive way. And I think between the two, somewhere lies that perfect balance of building and hustling. And I think that's pretty much what we have represented for India.
The startup ecosystem has always thrived on hustle. Shark Tank India attempts to bridge that gap, positioning ambition as a disciplined building. Brand adjacency today isn't just about visibility, it's about values alignment. Shows that celebrate effort without glorifying burnout create safer environments for brands that want to associate with aspiration, not anxiety.
Season 4, according to me, reportedly delivered 100% surge in subscriptions across 42 Tier 2 markets. If that is true, how are you recalibrating the ad inventory pricing, the sponsorship packages for Season 5 to reflect this geographic shift, especially because you're looking more and more into foraying into the heartlands of the larger Bharat?
You know, the choices of brands will keep on changing as the shows grow and as it becomes more and more part of the pop culture. But there's one thing I firmly believe: there is a tier 2 in every tier 1, and there is a tier 1 in every tier 2. So a show of nature of Shark Tank India has to really reach its true potential, and obviously with the help of right kind of advertising communities really supporting the show.
Season 4's reported traction across 42 Tier 2 markets has sharpened the focus on India's so-called heartland viewer. As Sony Live points out, there is a Tier 2 in every Tier 1 and vice versa. Shark Tank India's audience cuts across metros and smaller towns, founders and first-time viewers, aspiration and action.
So, when you were evaluating your participation in Season 5 as a brand collaboration, and given the fact that, the smartphone is a highly cluttered marketplace, were there certain measurable outcomes that Oppo had in mind? It could be either consideration lift, it could be retail footfalls, it could be upgrade intent, that you felt that this particular sponsorship will deliver to you, which probably a conventional media might be limited to, especially because I believe Oppo is not looking at this alignment merely as a logo placement.
I would say this as a partnership, not a sponsorship. Shark Tank has what actually it has done. See, there are people who come to pitch about their business. There are people who are coming to select their mentors. And there are people who also come to market their existing stuff. So that broader genre of people which are coming, they are coming from metros, they are coming from emerging markets, they are coming from smaller towns. And this is what India is all about, the true Bharat as we call it. And this is what Oppo aims, that if through this partnership we would foster our connection in a much, much stronger way, in a much more emotionally connected way, in a very, very meaningful way, I would see as a very healthy marriage where our connection, our overall emotional appeal with the youth of India becomes much stronger, and they would also get to know about what kind of value we are providing as a brand. I think through Shark Tank.
For brands like Oppo, Shark Tank India isn't being positioned as a logo placement exercise. The bet is on emotional resonance with a broad entrepreneurial audience that spans metros and emerging markets. In a crowded smartphone category, the challenge isn't awareness, it's relevance.
Some founders walk away post-show and they say that, because of due diligence or delays, they have not seen a lot of improved business performance. And social media has been rife with that. As an entrepreneur yourself, do you think that, reality shows are currently over-indexing on optics versus actually making an entrepreneur operational ready?
No, I think it's a necessity, because every entrepreneur who comes and pitch should understand these are the basics. So anyway, even if we as a shark, they are getting the money, or if they are getting the money from outside, from any financial institution, or let's say bank or a VC, the diligence is going to happen. The financial diligence, the legal diligence is definitely going to happen, uh, uh, barring the size of the company. Even if it's a company whose revenue is 2 crores or let's say 20 crore, they all have to go through the diligence part. So a person who comes to pitch should understand that some of the parameters should be clear and should be correct, and they should be in check also. So I think it's a very good message to all the pitchers that building a business, just building a business, एक idea आया, काम शुरू कर दिया, is not the right way to do business. Your paperwork, your finances, your legals, your trademark, everything has to be in place. I think the message has already gone to so many small and medium size of businesses that there should be, you know, all the checks in place.
So during the course of the 50 episodes, there is a lot of conversations that are there about the pitches that are made, about the founders who are coming over there, and that is discussed, diced, sliced everywhere. But do you think that, you know, it is also equally important that there should be some post-show tracking framework to understand, you know, so that there is a certain amount of credibility that is there, especially with the serious entrepreneurs? And do you think that is lacking in reality shows of this format?
I think you've made a very, very fair point that companies who have come and pitched, what exactly happened with them, who got the funding, really the funding, the money was transferred in the bank account, and what exactly happened post money, how the mentorship happened, how much time actually they gave. Because I have seen so many times sharks say, "Aap milna mujhse baad mein, we'll talk about it." But really, are they meeting them? So, of course, I think there should be a reality check.
As Shark Tank India expands, so does scrutiny of what happens once the cameras stop rolling. Entrepreneurs and viewers alike are beginning to ask harder questions about due diligence, mentorship, and outcomes. The show's insistence on financial and legal hygiene sends a clear signal, but the absence of a transparent post-show tracking framework still remains a grey area.
So there were a lot of conversations about how post the handshakes, the business conversations really don't go. So do you think that Shark Tank India needs a more transparent post-show tracking mechanism or a framework so it can continue to communicate the credibility of the reality platform with there, especially for the serious entrepreneurs?
Look, I mean, that's always a global scenario as well, right? So when people come in the tank, we always come with the belief that everyone's really, you know, giving their real picture. And outside the tank, the story can change or articulate itself a little bit differently, but that always happens. That percentage is really small. Those are just corner cases. Look at the kind of success cases that have come out of Shark Tank India, be it in the form of sharks or in the form of the entire startup community that has really come and pitched on the show. So that number is so much larger that I think just a small corner cases evaluation wouldn't make perfect.
Canva's entry into Shark Tank India highlights a broader shift in brand strategy, from chasing top-of-funnel visibility to driving real utility. With founders already design savvy, the focus moves to enabling growth rather than selling tools, especially in Bharat's market, where price sensitivity and tool fatigue are real. Localization and long-term value matter more than novelty.
Canva is sponsoring Shark Tank at a time when most of the founders are already digitally savvy and design first. So what are some of the specific brand or product adoption metrics that your team saw, you know, or evaluated to justify the kind of investment that Canva is making, which will go beyond top of the funnel visibility?
I think you're right, Vinita. It wasn't ever about the top of the funnel visibility. I think that's a given, right, with any such format. But what we were looking to do and achieve with Shark Tank India specifically was to be able to reach out to a very relevant community, a community which is a very integral and a seamless fit for Canva, and to be able to meaningfully engage with them through a platform where we can actually show them and enable them with design as more than just a tool, right? It's more of a growth catalyst for them at this point, and that's what we wanted to sort of use this platform for, where we can meaningfully engage with this community and show them what all Canva can help them do and achieve in life.
Well, that also ties into the last few marketing campaigns that Canva has done about democratization of design. But how are you going to assess that, you know, the users or the viewers of Shark Tank can actually convert into long-term Canva users, especially in the heartlands of Bharat, which is the kind of places that Shark Tank is seeing a lot of uptake in terms of viewership? And these are the reasons where price sensitivity and tool fatigue has started to hit home hard.
Absolutely, you're absolutely bang on with that narrative, right? And I think that is exactly what we're looking to achieve, and in India, right? So, in the last few years, we've made a lot of investment and effort into localizing the product experience for India, and as Bharat included, right? We've launched a very specific pricing called the 1 week and the 1 day plans for India, which has become which is what we like to call as sachet pricing. And in fact, it was such a success that it's been borrowed by other similar countries for Canva. Similarly, in terms of content, right, we are trying to localize our content library with so many languages.
And are there any other expectations that you have from the brand collaboration? Because this is the first time Canva is collaborating with a reality show.
I think we're just hoping that you see a lot more stories, real Canva stories, come out of this integration, this partnership, and stories which will further inspire a lot of budding entrepreneurs and founders from different corners of India to actually see the merit in entrepreneurship, the kind of creativity it includes, and how Canva can actually enable them build something truly for India.
Shark Tank India's 5th season arrives at a moment when advertisers are reassessing where influence truly lies. The show sits at the intersection of culture, commerce, and credibility, offering scale but demanding substance. For brands, agencies, and platforms alike, the real takeaway is that audiences are far more discerning now. Formats are more accountable, and advertising works best when it respects both intelligence and intent.